A dubious first for the United States with the country's first confirmed case of New World screwworm in Maryland, according to health officials there. This is a flesh-eating parasite that officials say was found earlier this month in somebody who had recently traveled to El Salvador. The good news, they're saying that the risk this spreads is very low. This parasitic worm is usually found in animals. It can be found in pets, for example, but it can be pretty damaging beyond that. It can kill whole herds of cattle, and the USDA estimates a bad outbreak could devastate the beef industry in Texas to the tune of nearly $2 billion. I want to bring in NBC medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel. Dr. Kavita Patel, you knew if there was a flesh-eating parasite, we were going to be talking about it on this show and what we need to know, right? We thought this was eradicated, didn't we? Didn't we think this was pretty much wiped out?
Yeah, you're right, Hallie. It was eradicated. This was done decades ago for a fascinating mechanism. We actually raised billions of sterilized screwworm flies. We raise the flies, sterilize them with radiation, and then drop them out of planes. You feel like this is a science fiction movie. It was real. Over Mexico and Central America, because the flies can't reproduce, they can't propagate the screwworm fly. So that's basically how we created this barrier zone, which has worked for decades until recently, as it's broken down kind of in that Panama, Colombia region, and then it can spread from there.
Is it not at all bad for humans? Is it a little bad for humans? Can it not spread to humans? Like, how concerned should we be?
Yeah, so the concern, obviously, for humans is there. It's treatable. So it's not just that we need to identify it, but it's also, Hallie, the implication for cattle and for crops and for people, for animals. So it's people, animals, all of our ecosystem that can be exposed to this. So what happens basically is they kind of hatch their eggs and larvae into like an open wound. And this can be in any animal, including a human, but it can be in cattle. And then once the eggs hatch, they then actually eat the flesh. And unfortunately, obviously, that cannot do any good for any sort of cattle ranchers or ranchers and farmers in general. And it results in culling these crops. And if it can happen to a human, whether it's from travel exposure, weakened immune systems, that's exactly how we saw this Maryland case progress.
Can it spread?
Treatable, recognizable.
Okay.
It can, humans can't, it can, yes, it can spread. But this is, again, why we're seeing that reproduction of those sterilized flies come back into the forefront. Because what we need to do is really kind of stop this from propagating and any reinfestation that could happen. So that's the most important thing that we can do. And, of course, staying away from anything or recognizing it, just as this individual did.
Dr. Kavita Patel, we're glad to have you on, walking us through all of it. Thank you very much.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.